James David Vance, born James Donald Bowman, August 2, 1984, is an American politician, author, and former United States Marine who was the Vice President-elect of the United States. A member of the Republican Party, he has served since 2023 as the junior United States Senator from Ohio. He was Donald Trump's running mate in the 2024 presidential election. Early life, military service, and education. James Donald Bowman was born on August 2, 1984, in Middletown, Ohio, to Beverly Carroll, née Vance, born 1961, and Donald Ray Bowman, 1959 to 2023. He is of Scots-Irish descent. His parents divorced when he was a toddler. After Bowman was adopted by his mother's third husband, Bob Hamill, his mother changed his name to James David Hamill to remove his father's name while using an uncle's name to preserve his nickname, J.D. Vance has written that his childhood was marked by poverty and abuse, and that his mother struggled with drug addiction. Vance and his sister Lindsay were raised primarily by his maternal grandparents, James, 1929 to 1997, and Bonnie Vance, née Blanton, 1933 to 2005, whom they called Pawpaw and Mama. At 17, Vance started his career as a cashier at Dillman Foods. He enlisted in the Marine Corps and served as a military journalist. He earned the rank of corporal and received decorations for his service. Vance attended Ohio State University and Yale Law School, where he met Jamil Jivani, a conservative member of Canadian Parliament. Vance began writing his memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, in 2013 and graduated with a Juris Doctor degree in 2013. He was raised in a low-income family and married Usha Chilukuri in 2014. Vance was raised in a conservative, evangelical Protestantism but was considering converting to Catholicism. In 2019, he was baptized and confirmed in the Catholic Church, choosing Augustine of Hippo as his confirmation saint. Vance was influenced by Peter Thiel. Net worth. J.D. Vance is a venture capitalist, author, and Republican politician who has a net worth of $5 million. Real estate. In June 2018, J.D. and Usha paid $1.4 million for a home in Cincinnati, Ohio. The 2-plus-acre property features a 4,700-square-foot mansion, which was built in 1858 and has 5 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. Early career. Vance, a former Republican senator and a venture capitalist, worked for several law firms before moving to San Francisco to work in the technology industry. He was a principal at Peter Thiel's firm, Mithril Capital, and published Hillbilly Elegy, a memoir about his upbringing in Appalachia. The book was a bestseller and was praised by the New York Times and the Washington Post. Vance joined Revolution LLC in 2017, where he expanded the Rise of the Rest initiative. He was a CNN contributor and co-founded the film version of Hillbilly Elegy. In 2019, he served on the board of advisors for the With Honor Fund and American Moment. Vance co-founded Rockbridge Network and venture capital firm Narya Capital with Thiel, Eric Schmidt, and Mark Andreessen. Our Ohio Renewal. In 2016, Vance moved to Ohio and started Our Ohio Renewal, a nonprofit focused on education, addiction, and other social ills. The organization, which raised around $221,000 in 2017 and spent most of its revenue on overhead costs and travel, closed by 2021 with sparse achievements. During Vance's 2022 campaign for U.S. Senate, Democratic nominee Tim Ryan accused the charity of being a front for Vance's political ambitions, with reports suggesting it paid a Vance political advisor and conducted public opinion polling while its efforts to address addiction failed. In 2017, Vance formed our Ohio Renewal Foundation, which raised around $69,000 from 2017 to 2023. The charity's biggest accomplishment, sending psychiatrist Sally Saddle to Ohio's Appalachian region for a year-long residency, was tainted by ties between Saddle, her employer, American Enterprise Institute, and Purdue Pharma. U.S. Senate 2022 campaign. J.D. Vance, a Republican senator from Ohio, announced his Senate campaign in May 2021 and won the Republican primary with 32% of the vote. He defeated Democratic nominee Tim Ryan with 53% of the vote in the general election. Vance dropped the period after becoming a candidate and was sworn into the Senate in January 2023. He made 45 Senate speeches and sponsored 57 legislative bills, none of which passed the Senate. Vance responded to the 2023 train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, criticized the Biden administration for a lackluster response, and co-sponsored bipartisan legislation to prevent derailments. He collaborated with Senator Elizabeth Warren to claw back executive pay when big banks fail and voted against raising the debt ceiling. In July 2023, Vance and Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene introduced legislation aimed at penalizing anyone who provides gender-affirming care to minors. In June 2024, Vance sponsored the Dismantle DEI Act, which would ban federal diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and funding for agencies, contractors, and organizations receiving federal funds. 2024 Presidential Election. Vice Presidential Campaign. In 2023, Vance endorsed former President Donald Trump in the 2024 Republican Party presidential primaries. Trump announced Vance as his running mate on July 15, 2024, and Vance accepted the nomination on July 17. Trump's two eldest sons, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, also advocated for Vance. Media and industry figures, including Elon Musk, David O. Sachs, Tucker Carlson, and Peter Thiel, lobbied for Vance to be on the presidential ticket. The Heritage Foundation privately advocated for Vance to be Trump's vice presidential pick. Vance appeared at significant conservative political events and was described as a potential running mate for Trump in June. In July 2024, Vance criticized Vice President Kamala Harris for changing his opinion in pursuit of political power and wealth. In August 2024, Vance said Trump would veto a national abortion ban, but Trump denied discussing it with Vance during a debate with Harris. In September 2024, Vance spoke at a Pennsylvania town hall event, promoting election denialism and critiquing Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris. He later claimed that Trump lost the 2020 election and that big tech rigged the election through censorship. Vance was criticized for saying that the Democratic Party is anti-family and anti-child and that being pro-babies and pro-family should be the Republican Party's highest priority. He also made disparaging remarks about childless people, primarily Democratic officials, and suggested that childless people should be taxed at a higher rate than those with children. In an August 2024 interview on Face the Nation, Vance supported increasing the child tax credit from $2,000 per child to $5,000 per child, despite his Senate Republican colleagues blocking an expanded child tax credit 2 weeks earlier. Political positions. J.D. Vance, a U.S. Senate candidate, is a national conservative, right-wing populist, and ideological successor to paleoconservatives. He is known for his ties to Silicon Valley and has endorsed books by Kevin Roberts and Jack Posobiec. Vance opposes abortion, same-sex marriage, and gun control, and has taken natalist positions. He supports Israel in the Israel-Hamas war and opposes continued military aid to Ukraine during the Russian invasion. Vance criticizes universities, the U.S. Department of Justice, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. In 2016, he publicly supported Donald Trump, apologizing for past criticisms and suggesting he would fire civil servants.